Hello and welcome. My name is Jen and I'm so honored to be guiding you through today's practice. Today we are taking it very slow and intentional with some yin yoga. Now if you've never taken this practice before, it's really magical in that you do less but you experience potentially more. So in our yin practice, it's kind of the cooler version. So the yin and the yang. The yang is more of our power yoga, vinyasa. You're building that internal heat. With yin, you are taking it down. You're holding big stretches for minutes at a time. So when you are stretching that deeply and for that amount of time, you really give your body a chance to get past muscle memory, into the fascia, into the tissues, which is where we carry a lot of our emotional baggage. So you might be feeling, a little bit vulnerable in some of these postures, and that's totally natural. This can be a very meditative practice, so please dip into it however feels best for you. Lots of modifications available. I hope you leave feeling more at peace and more at ease when we're finished. So we're going to start in a comfortable seat. You can sit as I am with hips on heels. You can also sit, cross-legged or hips on heels. You can also grab either a bolster, a rolled up blanket, a pillow, anything you have. If your hips are very tight, this position might feel a bit uncomfortable. We want our spine to be straight rather than rounded. So if this is kind of an issue for you, you can always stick something underneath the sits bones, give yourself a little bit of elevation. And basically we just want a place where we can sit nice and tall, start to become in tune with our breath, and start to come down from the day. Whether you're practicing this in the morning, afternoon, evening, this is a time for you to really dive in, to be with your body, with your breath, so take advantage. So with palms on knees, palms face down for grounding. A couple of times I want you to move your head from side to side. And in this practice, we oftentimes go slower than you want to go or slower than you are used to going. So really noticing how one side feels compared to the other. Maybe one side of the neck feels more tense. Good, finish up that last side, making sure you even out. And then start to drop your chin all the way to the chest, bring the ear to the shoulder, and then take that again. So kind of this nice, rounded, wave-like motion. You might already be noticing your breath slowing down. It's a good thing, that's what we want. We want to take it nice and easy, take it slow. Next time your chin is toward the chest, go ahead and keep it there. You can use some gentle pressure behind the fingertips, pressing down through the head to feel the back of the neck lengthen, breathing in. And breathing out. Another breath in and breath out. Okay, bring your head back to neutral. Peel your shoulders up and back 3 times, really big circles. Good, and then start to settle in. With your eyes closed, we're going to take note of the body from the ground up. So if you can feel either your sits bones connected to the earth, or maybe you're on a bolster, your sits bones reaching through that space into your mat, into the ground below, really visualize yourself growing some roots. Can you feel the points of your body that are either touching the ground or being hugged toward the earth through gravity? So backs of the feet or maybe sides of the feet are touching. You can wiggle out the toes, give a little movement down there. Feel your knees dropping further and further as hips naturally begin to loosen from the day, maybe from a full night's sleep. And then start to draw your awareness down to your roots and into your belly. So your solar plexus, this is the area that does so much for us day in and day out. Can you allow your belly to rest here? Can you allow it to be soft? Feel the gentle rise and fall of belly in, belly out. Move that awareness up into your heart center and just notice that space today. Does it feel open? Does it feel constricted? Does your breath feel like it's taking up all of the space that your lungs have to give? Or maybe the breath is a little bit shallow. Especially in our yin practice, we want to get used to being observers of the body, never the judge. So notice where you're at. If your breath is short, can you start to lengthen it out little by little? As you draw your awareness up through the body, can you also feel your spine getting just a little longer as you rise tall? Shoulder blades hug the spine, peel the chest open just a little bit, and then wiggle out the elbows slightly, wiggle out the fingers, let your arms be heavy. And finally, bring your awareness up through the throat, into the muscles of the face. Can you relax your jaw? Can you soften your cheeks? Can you bring some ease into the temples and the eyelids? Resting your awareness finally on your third eye center, that space between the eyebrows. Solidifying an intention for your practice today. You can dedicate your practice towards someone or something, maybe something you're working on or working toward. You can stick with our collective mantra today of simply, I am grounded. See yourself in your mind's eye. I am grounded. What does it look like? What does it feel like? I am grounded. Take a big breath in through the nose. And sigh it out through the mouth. Take that again, inhale. Sigh it out. Good, seal the lips. Try to breathe into 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 5. Hear your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As we move through just our few postures today, see if you can start to lengthen that breath a little bit, maybe to 6 counts, maybe 7, maybe 8 counts. Always balancing your inhale with the exhale. Good, bring your palms to heart center. Bow your chin, take a big breath in, let your mantra fill you up. And then on your exhale, let the arms go. Move your head once more side to side. And we'll start to get into our practice. So holding on to that breath the entire time. I'm going to move my meditation mat from underneath. You're welcome to keep yours under your sits bones if that feels good. We're going to start with cobbler's pose. So bring the soles of the feet to touch. Wiggle out the knees, rock a little side to side. And again, we'll hold these postures for about 2 minutes at a time. So we want to settle in bit by bit. If your back is already rounded, move your heels out a little bit more in front of you to give yourself some space. Take a big breath in, lift the heart high. As you exhale, start to fold with a flat spine. So hinging at the hips, find that point of resistance. Breathe in again. And then exhale, let your back round. Bring your arms out. You can keep your hands down or you can bring them face up for receiving. And I like a little shift left to right at the start as I feel into the low back. So you want to kind of find the sweet spot for you today. And then when you're ready, let yourself really surrender. Maybe move your head a bit side to side. So often in our lives, we're cranking our heads up, we're looking around, we're looking at a screen, we're trying to control what we see. But in this practice, it's all about looking within and anchoring to breath. So can you let your head go completely? Can you let the back of your neck release? And can you allow this posture to happen for you rather than to you? So you'll notice that the longer we hold here, the more gravity starts to take hold. the less work you have to do to feel this deep stretch. Physically noticing the sensations that are coming up in the low back, in the outer hip, maybe the groin. Wiggle out the toes, make sure there's no tension hanging out in the feet. And then pay attention to your belly. We have what's called an Uddiyana Bandha, which is sort of a lock within the belly. We're used to keeping that belly engaged, continuing to fuel our fire throughout the day. But again, in this cooling practice, there's no need to hang on. We are working on letting go, letting go, letting go. So you're over halfway there. Where can you start to release? Where can you start to surrender a bit further? Maybe wiggle out the fingers, let your arms relax. Let your head come down that much further. And we're here for just 4 more breaths. Can you lengthen out your inhale? Exhale. And keep breathing. And take 1 more big breath in. Exhale it out. Nice. Start to come all the way up. Slowly but surely, maybe move your head side to side. Take a couple of small motions to kind of release that big stretch. Nice. We'll take another seated stretch while we're here. Then we'll start to move down onto our mats. This is also a great practice if you have any crystals or anything tangible that you can hold in your palm. I find that it's a nice thing to kind of keep my mind focused and aware. So as you are gripping onto any kind of token, any kind of stone that you have, it kind of gives you something to focus your energy on and to also send your mantra into. So just something to keep in mind. We're going to start to spread our legs nice and wide. This is called dragonfly pose in our yin practice. So we're going to flare our toes toward the sky the same way we did in a more active practice. Wiggle out the knees a little bit. Peel your shoulders up and back. Good. Reach your fingertips behind you. Roll the shoulder blades back and just take a nice stretch. Let your chest come high. You can move your head a little bit side to side. Big breath in. And exhale, let that go. Good. Start to breathe in. Fill your lungs up. As you exhale, walk yourself down with a flat back. Try to keep those toes up for now. Breathe into that resistance. And then as you exhale, let yourself be heavy. So you might be way up here and that's totally fine. If you have a blanket, bolster, a couple things you can stack to rest your head on, that can give you a little bit of relief. Again, you can place something underneath the sits bones if you feel like your hips are feeling very uncomfortable or very tight here. Now, as you start to surrender, as we make our way into the posture, a little movement side to side is okay on the front end, but as we move deeper, you want to start to let that movement go, sink into the stillness. Feet still flared, so let the toes be heavy, let the feet relax. Let your knees soften a little bit. You might notice that your heart can pull forward a little bit more when those legs roll in, and that's okay, that's a good thing. If you are on forearms, remember to let your head drop. Anytime we can give the back of the neck some relief, we want to take the opportunity, take advantage. And then start to smooth out your breath. Start to watch your breath, as though you could see each inhale moving down to the bottom of your lungs. And see each exhale sweeping them clean bit by bit. Taking away any excess, any negativity, anything from your day that no longer serves you. We're already halfway there, so maybe start to extend your arms long if you haven't already. See what that does for the stretch for you. Let your face relax. Notice if there's any locking in the jaw. We tend to carry tension in the face to compensate when we're feeling a big stretch somewhere else. So again, never judging ourselves, just observing. You want to get to know your body as best you can, get to know your reactions. We're almost there, down to 4 more breaths. I'll let you sink into stillness for this last little bit. And slowly start to walk your hands back in. Use your hands to help your knees bend. And then bring the soles of the feet in front of you. Place your palms behind. We'll take a little windshield wiper side to side. And hopefully feeling a bit more open in the hips. We'll transition onto the mat. Our yin practice, slow and steady. We're already over halfway there, so we have just a couple of postures left. Go ahead and, if you have any stones, move them to the top of your mat. And if you have a mat, a bolster, a blanket, just move that off to the side for now. You may choose to use that in your Shavasana. So from here, we're going to transition by taking a nice wide-legged child's pose. So knees come wide on the mat. Instead of big toes touching, let your heels come about hip width. Set the hips back. Let your forehead fall to the mat. Grab a hold if you have something to anchor your awareness, or simply settle in, so shift a little side to side. Let your forehead hit the mat, and then let that movement of forehead side to side be a signal to the body that I'm here. I am safe. I am grounded. Our child's pose, Balasana, one of the most grounding postures in our yoga practice, in our asana practice. This is a posture where physically we're close to the earth. Our hearts are protected by our bodies rounded on top. It makes us feel safe. It makes us feel secure. So coming back to that idea, I am grounded, can you start to feel yourself really living in that space, seeing yourself, feeling yourself grounded, not just in your practice, but maybe visualizing what this looks like off the mat. We're over halfway there. Start to deepen your breath if you can, sending your air this time to the back of the lungs, filling them up. And then exhaling, allowing your hips to sink that much further. Feeling this nice stretch through the shoulders and the armpits, the triceps. Feeling your belly allowed to be soft. Your belly, no need to work right now. It can simply be as it is. And just a couple more breaths. Can you sink a little bit deeper? Let go a little bit further. And slowly start to press into your palms. Come up toward all fours. Be really gentle when we hold these postures so long. The body can feel a little bit delicate as we come out. We're going to move on to our bellies for one of our last postures. So come on down, moving into Sphinx pose. Bring your heels about hip width. In our Sphinx pose for our yin practice, the legs can be soft. Nothing needs to really be activated except for the arms. We're going to feel this in the spine. So a little bit less dramatic than a vinyasa practice version. Bring your elbows close to the rib cage. Spread the fingers nice and wide. We'll be here for about half the time. This is a more intensive posture, so you don't want to exhaust your body or exhaust your muscles. So with fingers spread wide, feel as though you're pulling the mat in towards you. And then notice how your collarbone and your heart are naturally going to open up with that action. Instead of dropping the head back or gazing down, keep a nice neutral neck, proud chest as you breathe here. You might notice if you came up too fast or too intensely, you might need to back off a little bit, and that's okay. Try to keep away from that urge to move the shoulders in. Keep your chest open the entire time. I always find it helpful in this practice to close my eyes. Remind yourself again and again, I am grounded. I am grounded. I am grounded. Breathing in, breathing out. We're already down to our last 3 breaths. Pull the heart a little further toward the front of the room. Feel that beautiful stretch across the length of the spine. And taking one more big breath in. And breath out. Okay, carefully let that go. Stack one palm on top of the other. Rest your forehead. Let yourself just relax here for a few moments. Let the legs loosen. Let the glutes be soft. And breathe in. Breathe out. And we'll come into one last stretch on our backs. That's how quickly the yin practice goes. It's such an amazing thing to do for your body. So go ahead and make your way onto your back. From your back, we're gonna bring heels close to the glutes, knees straight up toward the sky. This will be our last posture before Shavasana. So taking figure 4, start to bring your right leg up high. And you can point and flex the foot a couple of times, maybe take some ankle circles, see how that leg's feeling. And then as you're ready, cross the ankle over the knee, let that right knee drop. When it feels okay, pull everything in toward the chest, reach around for the thigh. If this is just too much for you, you can always leave the foot on the mat. You can also use your hands on each thigh to kind of gently hug things in. So shift around a little bit side to side. I notice especially in hip openers, I need to find that sweet spot. So do what you need to do to find a place where you can hold. The more you bump the weight toward the left hip, the more you're going to feel this in your right hip. So once you found that spot, go ahead and let the feet relax. Let that left calf fall onto the fingertips. And even though the grip is active, the rest of the body is simply allowing things to happen, allowing that hip to open up. Deep, smooth breaths. With hip openers, it's very common to start to feel thoughts bubbling up, or even ego starting to get in your way, distracting you from your breath, from your practice. And that's because we carry much of our emotional baggage stored away in our outer hips, our histories, our past experiences, especially those times that have hurt us, those things that stick with us. Those are stuck in our tissues in a way. And so in postures like this, a movement or an opening that doesn't come to us in everyday life, you might feel a rush of emotion start to take over. You might feel yourself suddenly very vulnerable for seemingly no reason. It's because different stretches, different movements can bring that out of us. That's the beautiful and powerful part of a physical yoga practice, is you're able to locate and access those memories, move them through you, and release what doesn't serve you. And with that said, we're down to just 2 more breaths here. Nice job. Start to drop the grip, drop the left foot, and then right foot comes to the earth as well. Left foot rises, point and flex a couple of times, maybe some ankle circles. press through the heel, breathe in, and then cross the ankle over the knee. Start to draw the legs toward the body. And then again, if it's accessible, reach around through that shape, get a grip with opposite thumb on top, minor adjustments to even out the body. Shift around a little bit side to side. And then bump your weight slightly toward the right this time to feel that deepening on the left. Once you have that sweet spot, let the feet relax. Maybe hug a little bit tighter. Feel your chest stay open. No need to rise those shoulders off the earth. Everything stays as flat and as grounded as can be. Smooth out the breath. As we're getting closer to the end, can you really challenge yourself to breathe in more deeply and for more elongated periods? So taking 7 count breaths, 8 count breaths, 9 or 10 count breaths. It's up to you. It's your practice. It's you challenging yourself each time you move onto the mat. Mentally challenging yourself to stay zoned in on that drishti, your mind's eye, zoned in on your intention. Even with your eyes closed, you have a focal point. You have something you're working on, working toward. Let that be your continuous guide. Let that be your light. Maybe hug those legs a little bit closer as we come into our last couple breaths. Good. Carefully release that grip. Let that leg go. Take a nice windshield wiper side to side. Hopefully feeling a lot more open in your hips. Be gentle with yourself. Again, that's not a movement that we do every day during a normal day-to-day life, but so important for your well-being mentally and physically. Good. When you're ready, hug your knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug, breathing in, breathing out. Let your legs come long. Making your way into a beautiful shavasana, wiggling out fingers and toes. Move your head side to side. And take 3 full rounds of breath. This space, this posture, this is truly where your body has an opportunity to alchemize, to blend together everything that you've been working on, all those benefits, all that time spent. This is where it comes together. Feel yourself holding on to that mantra one more time. I am grounded. And then let it go. Let your breath relax. Allow yourself to simply be right here, right now. And breathe. If you have the gift of time today, I encourage you to stay in this posture for 5 minutes, maybe more if you have the opportunity. Never too much time in Shavasana. If you're ready to close out your practice with me, go ahead and make your way to one side. With eyes still closed, gently press into palms. Make your way up to a seat. We'll end our practice the same way we began. With legs crossed, move your head gently side to side. Maybe move your shoulders up and back a couple of times. You're going to take a big breath in, wash it out, and bring your palms to heart center, bow your chin. Find some deep gratitude for whatever it took for you to make the time to practice today, making time for your body, making space for your mind, and deepening the power of your breath. Always worth the effort, always worth the time. peace, peace, peace within you and because of you. May you hold and share your light. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time.